Welcome everyone to my channel. I am Leon and I am your host, and for this part of the video we are going to spoiler for Wither by J.G. Passarella. So if this is your first time here, pull up a seat, sit down, and let us talk about this book. If you've been here before, you know the drill. We're not going to hash it out again, okay? So this is part of a series called Wendy Ward. I didn't know about that when I first bought the book because the conclusions of it made it seem like it was just a one-off. But I did read that there are actually standalone sequels and not really sequels. Which I call bullshit on. Because I mean like bullshit. Okay, so it's 3 books. So what made me read this book? Well, I liked the blurb on the back of the book when I picked it up for the first time in my life. Now, we can go, how is the back of the blurb? Oh, when your book is like this. Well, the back of the blurb was that. Okay? I didn't even open up the book. I just picked it up and read the back of the blurb, which I'm going to read to you, and then I'm going to read the actual blurb. Okay? Okay. Memory. Flying over Windale, spiraling down among the trees, she sees him perched on the roof of the trestle bridge. She skips him up, her clawed fingers digging into his screaming flesh. Below, the pale girl face watches in horror, mouth agape. And the memory ends. The rush of flight again. Not memory, but now. She's swooping down over the field of circles, where he is running, another boy, the one who interferes with her chosen. She swoops down to clutch this one, claws aching for the feel of flesh crushed beneath them. She wants to punish him, to tear him apart. He senses her, looks up, his face a pale blur of fright. He is Alex! Wendy's eyes snapped open. Sleep instantly vanquished in a bright blossom of fear. She sat on the floor of her bedroom, shivering, arms wrapped around her bent knees, and prayed alone. It had been the worst dream yet, and she prayed it was own. So, the blurb. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you don't watch out. Windale, Massachusetts is a proud old town that embraces its colonial heritage, including the legend of a dark witch's coven dating back 300 years. Now, a cause for tongue-in-cheek Halloween rivalry. No one in Windale actually believes in witches, but 3 people, unknown to one another, are experiencing vivid nightmares of helpful horror. Their dreams are their only connection to a terrifying truth. A dreadful presence is working its way into their waking lives and is coming for them. Wendy Ward, a student at Windale's Danfield College, is known around campus as a college president's daughter and an offbeat dabbler in the occult. While her freshman lit classmates study Nathaniel Hawthorne's The House of the Seven Gables, Wendy tries her hand at real witchcraft, concocting well-intentioned charms and conjuring the art of white magic, and nothing can protect her from true evil. Karen Glazer, a Danfield College professor, is eagerly interested in the birth of her daughter, but she can't suppress her growing dread that the baby is not safe. Someone wants to take the life from within her, wants to claim her unborn child. Abby McNeil, a lonely 8-year-old, stumbles upon the 3 ancient grave marks in the woods, earthly evidence that Windale's witches, real blood sisters executed by hanging, were once very real. Standing among the time-worn stones, Abby is awakened by a curious calm and a sense that she has finally found a home. On a crisp autumn night, Wendy ventures into the woods to perform a harmless channeling ritual, but unwillingly opens the floodgates to terrifying forces that have, until then, lived only in their dreams. The coven that arises is horrifying beyond imagination. A breed of demonic creature is a power to shatter and Dun dun dun. So, there you go. Doesn't that sound chilling in such a way? So, the genre is considered to be supernatural. Did this live up to my expectations? It was good for what it was. Supernatural. Thriller. A little bone chilling. And yes, I did like it. We're keeping it, and we're hopefully going to go on to the next one. I've got... Boy! Should you go and read this story/series? Yes, if you enjoy witches, ancient evil, and a dash of horror, thriller, and romance all rolled into one. Ooh la la! First, obviously, you get 2 for this for 1. Okay, you get one of the main characters in romance and the other main character in romance. I mean, like, you get a couple good romances going in there. Okay. So, if you don't want to stick around for the lovely spoiler of this book called Wither, I would dash out. But leave a like, a comment, or even your lovely subscription down below before you do go. Please. Okay, so, we're gonna start this 300 years ago. Okay. So, 300 years ago, there was a witch. An eldritch witch at that. She's been around for a very long time. She calls herself Elizabeth Wither. A widow. It's called Widow Wither. But she wasn't always Widow Wither. We will get into that in another book. Okay? So, Elizabeth Wither is downright the devil, evil. A witch of all proportions of madness and despair, and loves causing pain and getting her way and killing people. She convinces poor, innocent 14-year-old Sarah Hutchins to kill her husband. I don't remember his name. Because he is just a wife beater. And I mean, like, he's obviously an adult and married to a 14-year-old. But back then, that happened back then. Okay? Yeah, that happened way back when. It's looked down upon nowadays, but back then it wasn't. But anyways, regardless, she obviously gets found out and called a witch. She did poison for her husband and threw him down a well to make it look like he fell down the well. But I don't know how they found out that she was a witch and that she killed her husband, but that's just the way it is, okay? So, Rebecca Cole is convinced to kill Jonah Cook, a magistrate who likes to go around and harass women and accuse them of being witches if they don't sleep with him. Yeah. To get out from underneath that, she kills him, but of course somehow it gets found out that she killed him. The three of them become blood sisters. Wither opens up her veins and shares the blood with Rebecca and Sarah, which is black blood, and they of course allow Elizabeth to Wither to their blood to make them blood sisters. And they all hang and they all get buried, and then the person who's sworn to protect them and feed them, like Ezekiel, digs them up and allows them to live in a barn far away from society. So Ezekiel's bargain for this is longevity. But he has to feed them every time they stir and wake up, which is every decade. Every decade they stir, so they gotta be fed, especially in October. And for Elizabeth, there are cycles, okay? Cycles are done. They need to be done. And this year, 300 years later, her cycle is complete. She has to find a fresh new body because her body is dying. In order to continue living on, she needs to be in a new body. So she has chosen for her body to Gwendolyn Ward, which everybody calls her Wendy. I mean, technically there's Wend in her name. Wendy in her name. But yes, she has chosen Wendy Ward as her new body. But Wendy doesn't know this at first, okay? She just knows she's having horrifying nightmares. Memories, actually, of Wither. And she decides to dabble in white magic, because she is definitely part of the occult, believes in witches and all that stuff, the Wicca, and she does her own rituals and stuff, and she actually does successfully perform magic, and rivals in it, but it comes at a price, because all magic comes at a price. If you don't know, it's true. And in this one, it's also true. So there's that. You meet her parents, Carol Ward and Larry Ward. She actually calls her mother by her first name because I guess they don't see eye to eye. And Larry Ward is, of course, the dean, president of Danfields College. He needs to have a specific front presented to people. Okay, so Wither's first victim in October is Jack Carter. Jock, I guess you could say. Thinks highly of himself. So he has two girls that he really likes. They're called girls. They're college women. Jensen Hot and Cindy Sellers. He picks Jensen to go out on a date with through a flip of a coin. And on this date, as he's trying to show off while very drunk, spray painting on a bridge demonic symbols, he gets, well, picked up and killed. Jensen saw it and goes a little crazy and starts drawing the creature she saw. Wendy sees a creature, puts it together that the creature is Wither, and decides to somehow fight her. There's more to that, but we'll get into it later. Her second victim is Christopher Perry, who is just a nobody. He's just there to be offed by Wither. Okay. Her third victim actually lives, just lucky, is Alexander Ian Dunkirk. Now, Alex, as he's called, likes to be called, is from a different area. He's got a sister named Susanna. He's got parents, and he's going to college here. He gets the hots for Wendy, and they start connecting. And then Wendy's best friend, Frankie Leonard, who is in a communications major, who has to do volunteer work for the radio show, tries to hook them up through a not so cool way, as in she tells Alex, hey, Wendy's doing this ritual where she'll be naked. Why don't you go and check it out? Hoping they would get down and dirty, which doesn't happen because Alex goes, he witnesses this without Wendy knowing he's there, and when she becomes naked, he dips. He's like, nope, I'm violating it. I can't do this. And he leaves. And he does confess. But he didn't tell her also. Well, he did tell her that Frankie put him up to it. Where she, like, gets on to Frankie about it. So, he's obviously into her in a way that's, really into it. So she decides that, hey, look, I need to do this ritual. I think it can help center me, get rid of these nightmares. I need it. Can you do it with me? And it's a ritual that needs arousal in it. So yeah, she uses him because she finds him hot. He finds her hot. So they don't actually get down and dirty, but they do have some fun time, I guess you can call it. And that's why Wither decides to pick him off, because he's interfering with the ritual, I guess, that she's doing to try and take over Wendy's body. And gets a collapsed bleacher put on him. But he survives. He does survive, which is a good thing in my book. Now, Karen Glazer is a professor at the college, and she is 38 years old and pregnant with Paul Leeson, a contractor daughter. Okay. So they're together, but they don't talk about it because I don't know why they don't want people to know they're together. They just don't. He's 40, she's 38. I guess they don't think people should know. I mean, it's not really their business, which is true. So Rebecca Cole wants Karen Glazer's baby. She wanted a kid. And she was pregnant when she was going to be hanged. And of course, obviously, the child dies. Yeah. Especially since Wither can't have kids with the way she is. So sharing blood with Wither makes it to where the baby in her dies. So she wants Karen Glazer's baby, who she never got, but had sped up the gestations for it. So that way the baby was born technically the day after Halloween, but she was supposed to be born on Halloween night, so Rebecca could take her. She's named Hannah Nicole Glazer, and even though her daddy ain't around because Paul dies trying to fend off Rebecca Cole from taking Aaron and his daughter, it's, he gets to have him. Now, Arthur Art Leeson, he is a major who's a host, and he's been at a dissertation for 14 years about something to do with the colonialism in Stanfield. It gets rejected, and then he goes geared towards searching up women being affected in the colonialist time as a way, because they're women who are in charge of a lot of stuff, to get his dissertation accepted and be able to graduate with a PhD, doctorate, I don't know, with something. Okay. He actually had a crush on Karen, and his brother snagged her, and now he gets in and smooshy, good uncle. Maybe they get together. No, we won't know. Okay, but he gets accused of doing some naughty stuff, which is very much a lie. Okay, it's a lie. Abby McNeil is 8 years old, and she leaves her dad's house to go into the woods, and she finds Sarah Hutchins' grave. And Sarah Hutchins has decided to take over Abby, I'm guessing, in some way, shape, or form. I don't know why. Doesn't really go into it too much, but he goes and sleeps in the cemetery. Art going to go take pictures of gravestones of women who were buried, who lost their life in a mill fire. Finds her on the stone, takes a bunch of pictures of it, and puts her in his vehicle to bring her to the hospital because she's flaring with a fever. And she wakes up crazed, and attacks him and almost gouges out his right eye, but infecting it with this terrible infection thing, and it causes a car wreck. Okay. Since he has her in there and she's paralyzed and won't talk, they believe Art was doing naughty stuff to her, which was completely untrue. He'd never met her before besides that night when he picked her up to bring her to the hospital because she was running a fever. And of course, when you find a strange child, of course you want to bring him to the sheriff or to the hospital. I mean, like, hello? He was being a good citizen. So he ends up running away from the police, from the hospital, not knowing that the hospital was actually going to snip him because they thought he deserved it while they were trying to take out his eye to stop the spread of the infection. And Sheriff Bill Nottingham, who believes he's guilty without knowing all the facts and without believing him, tries to go after him. Art talks to Abby real quick, and Abby says, the first word she says is, "Not Abby anymore." He's like, "Well, who are you?" "Sarah Hutchins." And he's like, shit. So when Karen starts acting a little weird and screaming out things like, "You're just killing me because you think I'm a witch, blah, 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 don't take my child from me," he's like, "State your name for the record." And she's like, "Rebecca Cole." And he's like, does some wording and everything and brings her back from having a seizure and all that stuff. So yeah, there's that. And in the end, while he's being chased by Sarah or Wither. I'm not sure which. I think it's Sarah. Sarah's chasing him to kill him so that way he can't interfere with Abby anymore. Frankie and Art go to Wendy, talk about all this stuff, and that's when Wendy finds out that Abby's also involved in it, and she's like, okay, well, I think I know what I need to do to stop it. And so she and Frankie go to stop it, while Karen is currently trying to give birth with Maria Labajo, or OBGYN. And Art goes to, I don't know, to do something. And he runs into the officer, Sheriff Bill Nottingham, who arrests him, puts him in the back of his car, thinking that he killed his deputy, which he didn't, and goes to bring him back to jail. And he's like, I know where the little girl is. I can show you. And he's like, okay, show me where this little girl is. So he brings him to the barn where Sarah Hutchins is and Abby is. And they find Matthias, who is the current caretaker after his father and his grandfather, dead after trying to shoot and kill the witch because he had enough. His grandfather was Ezekiel, the one who made the first pledge that he would help the witches and so in the rest of his generation. Drinking their blood, it extends their life. So yes, they did it. Yes, they did it. Matthias could have saved Jack, but didn't. Really his fault. Jack died. Could have saved Jack, but he didn't. I mean, I understand why. They're terrifying. And they do a lot of terrifying stuff. There's that. The sheriff shoots into Sarah and then lights the barn on fire, which kills Sarah Hutchins. Karen, while in active labor after Maria has been knocked off to the side and full of injuries, sets a spark of explosion in the hospital with paddles. The recitation cart thing with the paddles where you go clear, no, sparked it, and lights Rebecca Como on fire. Now, Wither is after Wendy. She's got Frankie. She builds a circle around the car, her gremlin, and tries to perform magic to banish Wither. It doesn't work. Wither comes to her and attacks her. Fire doesn't work because obviously she doesn't have enough fire to kill him. And so she's trying to run away with Frankie, and then Frankie almost gets killed. So she tries to get Frankie free, and she gets captured. And that's when she realizes that she's not draining Rebecca. Wither is trying to exchange places. Put Wendy in her dying body and her in Wendy's young, fresh body, so that way she can continue her cycles of living and dying every 30 years. And Wendy gets sucked into all the memories, and Frankie, who stabs Wither in the foot, knocks everybody out of that. And Wendy's like, crap, Frankie, go. She leads Wither into an abandoned building, which she makes Wither knock out the support beams to crush her, and then light it on fire. There was a lot of blazing going on, a lot of fires going on, a lot of stuff going on. But they saved the day! Yay! Sheriff Bill Nottingham and Abby, I guess it's going to be adopted by the sheriff, go and visit Karen in the hospital. Wendy's there, me, and me, Hannah Nicole Glazer, and then Alex, who's been unconscious since he was attacked, actually has woken up that morning. He sits there and goes, here you go, mandrake root that she had put underneath his pillow to protect him had all been dried up and it was crinkling in dust. And she's so happy that he's alive, and he's like, I just want. So yay! All the good things happen. Okay? all the good things happen at the end. So, my favorite character was Alex. For someone that had not believed in witchcraft, he sure did adapt quickly because he really liked Wendy and he really wanted to be with her. Like, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll be involved in your magic. Yeah, I can do it. And then he actually meets the witch, and he's like, okay, it's all real, definitely all real. Oh my gosh. And he's like, good thing Wendy's good. My most disliked character was, of course, Elizabeth Wither for her evil spread to others, killing and eating humans and influencing young women at the end of the rope to kill as well, and trading places with young women, like she did with Elizabeth Wither, because she wasn't always with her. She's an Eldritch, so she's been around for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, picking a woman to exchange her life with. So, what stood out as memorable? How quickly Wendy figured out what was happening to her and the other two after gaining a bit of information. They gained information from Art and from Frankie and Alex, and she just absorbed it all, got it all, and just figured everything out. That was quite cool. My favorite passage from the story is, you enjoyed the power. So there's a bunch of stuff that goes on in between it, but basically the enjoy the power part was Wither speaking to her in her mind about the power that she did of creating rain briefly, and the magic she performed the first time of her ritual. So yeah, then what happens after that is she almost cried out, gasped instead, stumbled forward, another cramp, worse still, and then the blood came. The thick, clotted flow streaked her inner thigh. She fell to her knees and wondered why it was a week early, why it was so painful this time, why now. So Wither told Sarah and Rebecca that her body, any body she had really, could not beget young. So my take is that because of the power that she used, which was actually Wither's power, it affected Wendy in a way of like, hey, expel this stuff. Like, if things went further, the body probably would have bled out all of the eggs within the ovaries until there was none left. So that way, Wither's body could, I don't know, become one with the body. So it's like a telling of if when he continues to become Wither, her body will not be able to have children. Basically, that's what that is. And I love that kind of foreshadowing. That was good foreshadowing. So this happens before you find out that Wither can't have kids and that Wither's trying to exchange bodies with Wendy. My favorite quote, "Don't worry," said Wendy. "We're all alone." It's like famous last words when they're going to perform their ritual together. Which is true. Those are famous last words. And they weren't actually alone. Wither was connected to Wendy. Oh my. So, what is that about the end of the book? Yay! I'm so glad that Wendy, Abby, and Karen all lived. And Karen's daughter Hannah was born safe and sound with her mom. And that Alex woke up. So, there's your romances. I guess Alex and Wendy. Romance. And Karen, of course, Paul. And maybe Karen and Art. Maybe. We'll have to find out in the next book. Won't we? This book, as you know, is part of a series called Wendy Ward. There are 3 books in the series. Wither Train, and Wizard's Legacy. I have to buy them, but I did find them on Amazon, so I will be able to purchase them in book format. They, of course, won't be hardback. They'll be soft covered. That's okay. It'll be fine. I rate this a 3.5 because the characters were not really given enough time to develop fully, and some of them were only there to die. Like, it's only 300 and some odd pages long, and honestly, that's not enough because it's like a rushing thing. 304 pages. So it's more of a rush to get to the end, and it doesn't feel like a rushed book, but there's really not a lot of character development in it besides Wendy, but there's a lot of world building more than anything. I'm hoping book 2 is better and book 3 is awesome, okay? So I will see you. No, hold up. So, if you think I deserve a like, comment, or your lovely subscription, drop it down below and I will see you next. Illusion.